And I've been in London for 3 days. You know, got over the jet lag. Was staying in Piccadilly Hotel, and I only picked places I knew off the Monopoly board, if you understand my meaning. And of course, you know, that was when I went to Mayfair, which is the expensive part of, you know, on the Monopoly board, and I went to a Subway, and it cost me £20 for a fucking Subway, which is about $40 Australian. I didn't have to buy it, but I just wanted to have the experience of eating a £20 bloody fucking Subway. You know, Jesus Christ. In Australian dollars is like 2.5 or 2.75 at the time exchange rate. So it was a very expensive Subway, let me tell you that. And so after being 3 days in London, I thought I've got to I've got to send some postcards back to all the rallies back in Australia. Done us me postcards, you know, got the internet, Facebook, all that magic shit. And so as I'm in London 3 days writing out these postcards, I think I got into the first one or two and thought, hang on, this is a lot of effort. And I said, fuck it, I'm just going to go to an internet cafe. And around this Piccadilly hotel, I'd seen this very attractive woman, very well presented, hair, very physically attractive, and all the rest of it. Saw her hang around with a couple of guys and people, and I thought, okay, not really worried. And proceeded to track down a random internet cafe. Oh shit! And hang on, I'm just gonna. Where are we? There we go. So I come across this random internet cafe, and so I walk into this internet cafe, and I sit down. I got all the postcards. I put them in my pocket, and I just start sending off emails saying, "Hey, here I am. Here's a photo. I survived. I'm in Piccadilly. I've been to Mayfair. I'm going around the fucking Monopoly board. I'm going to be in London for a week. It's all good. You know, don't forget me and all the rest of it." And something made me decide to look over my shoulder. And at that time, it was the woman from my hotel had come in, and she was using the internet cafe. And she walked in. We made eye contact, and I thought, oh, this is going along nicely. She's very friendly, and you know, we sort of exchanged glances on and off a little bit, and sort of sit back down. And she got on the computer and she started typing like she was in the Olympics. You know, the keys are rattling along, going a million miles an hour. And so I thought, what's going on here? So I turned around and said, stop showing off. And she stuck her tongue out at me, and I thought, oh, well, she's a bit of a cheeky bugger. And we started sort of having a long distance sort of, you know, she was on the other side of the room. We started to have this little bit of banter going back and forth from the room. Picked up she had an American accent, and so we're talking away. And you know, I'm trying to slow the conversation down as much as possible, you know. And I've come straight from the outback of Australia, so I'm in London. The place I come from is about as big as Europe, with about 200,000 people in it, and London was 10 million people. It was quite a contrast. And I'm all dressed up as well, got sports coat on. I'm all looking the biz, and she was looking pretty hot to trot. So we start talking, we're bantering back and forth, and so we're shit stirring each other. And she asked me what I did for a living. You know what I do for a living. We haven't exchanged names and all the rest of it just yet. And
Relay Kilo Oscar Alpha. Station services have been informed of your arrival. Fly safely.
Yeah, so she asked me what I did for a living, and everything flashes through my head, because I was working in the mining industry at the time, and I was going to say that to her, and I thought, no, I've got to come up with something better than that. So my head is just going through fucking everything. I'm thinking IT. I'm thinking all these different.
Docking request approved. Land on designated pad number 10.
Different bullshit stories I could come up with. Do I lie to her? Do I whatever? And all of a sudden, it just came out of my head. I don't know where it come from. I just went, what is the most craziest thing I could say? I said, and it just, like a voice in my head just said, koala farmer. So I just turned to her and said, well, I'm a koala farmer. And she lost it and started laughing. And I said, yeah. And you know, we talked to her a little bit more. And then I said, so what do you do? And she goes, she was from New York. And I said, okay. And I said, so what do you do for a living? And she goes, oh, I'm a lady of the night. And I'm thinking, oh, a lady of the night, escort, prostitute. Oh, okay. So bit of a dramatic pause, and I looked back and I said, well, you know what that means, don't you? And she says, no, what does that mean? I said, well, me being a koala farmer and with all my koala farmer products, you and I should get together because with your natural salesmanship, we'll make millions, if not billions together. And I said it as a joke. Within about 5 seconds, she stood up, walked across the room,
Touchdown confirmed. Ship
stuck her hand out and said, my name is...
Flight Operations Bureau wishes you a pleasant and productive visit, Commander.
That's exactly what she said. And introduced herself and said her name. And let's just say we had a little bit of a magical fling in London, went to Paris, all that crap, a few days. She flew back to New York. About 6 months later, I flew to... I already told her I was going. I ended up in New York with her for a while and, you know, all that magic. But while I was in New York, that's when the story about the koala farmer, because people would ask me, she'd take me to parties and people would ask me what industry I would be in. And I'd say, oh, look, the mining industry. And they'd say, and because of my accent, all these Americans would hear it as miming. And they'd go, so you're a mime? And I go, what? No, mining industry. And they goes, what's that mean? I said, gold, lead, copper, zinc, underground mining equipment stuff. They still couldn't understand it. So I got frustrated and so I just said, I am a koala farmer. And they all fucking believed me. And they said, oh, you're a koala farmer. So what's a koala farmer do? And I come up with like, I have a big stick, I walk around and I poke the koalas every 12 hours to make sure they're awake and they haven't died because, you know, we've got these big koala farms. And I said, what, koala farms? I said, yeah, koala farms. We have huge herds of koalas. And they're like, what do you do with the koalas? Well, we milk them. And they're like, you milk the koalas? I said, yeah, the gourmet milk. We sent it to Japan. I said, this is part of my trip. I'm on the way to Japan. And I said, the problem is I've got such big fingers that, you know, I've got to invent a machine and the Japanese are going to help us invent it. And plus we're going to import the gourmet koala milk to Japan because they eat all the luxury gourmet food and they pay top dollar. And I said, I'll go around with the big stick poking them and I need investment and all the rest of it. And this happened in New York, this happened in LA, and every woman I was meeting, that was the first thing they asked is what industry I kept working in. It was a bizarre question to ask someone you don't really know. And straight away I tell them I'm a koala farmer and the milk, gourmet koala farmer milk thing. And let's just say I learnt, and thank you for that koala farmer stuff, because when I ended in New York and spent my time with H, let's just call it that, and then travelled through all North Canada and USA from East Coast to West Coast, had an incredible time, and 3/4 of it was down to be, actually, about half of it was being a koala farmer, the other good chunk of it was Crocodile Dundee, and the other half was Steve Irwin. So Steve Irwin got me at least 44 pints of free fucking Guinness, Crocodile Dundee saved me in French Canada, and coming up with a koala farmer story, and convincing all Americans that there are herds of koala farms where, you know, and I tell them all those koala toys you buy are actually made out of real koalas, and we shave them like sheep, and you know, I learnt you can tell a story with a cheeky smile when you got an accent in a foreign country. If I'd said the same story here in Australia, originally people would have told me to fuck off. So I end up travelling through all this country, being known as a koala farmer, and I've stuck with it ever since, and it's been a good 7 years or so, and whenever I tell that story, people piss themselves laughing. And ironically, my younger brother, he unfortunately broke up with his wife, and he's reconnected with his first love again from back when she was 18 and he was 21. And part of visiting all her friends and family, they started asking him what he did for a living. So my brother, being a smart ass like myself, and he only told me this just recently, he actually used my koala farming line. So he told him he was a koala farmer. So these are all Australians. And this is on the Sunshine Coast, which is north of Brisbane. So they're all pissed. They're like, what, a koala farmer? And he goes, yeah, because he was from outback, Dalby region of Australia. And so they're all believing him that this was real. that he was a koala farmer, and the first question they asked, half of them said, "Have you slept with this guy already?" Because he's making shit up, and the other half was shocked and stunned that there was such a thing as a koala farmer. So effectively, it is love, is a skill of a man talking to an attractive woman, put in a tough position, and I came up with a crazy job title. And thanks to my accent in America and trying to explain that I worked in the mining industry, people kept asking me, am I a mime? That's when I just said, fuck it, I'm a koala farmer. And I tell you what, I was dragged around party after party in New York just to tell those stories, and because I had the accent, and probably should have done a movie about it. But anyway, the future can only open up doors. So that is how, and that is why, this channel is the Adventures of the Koala Farmer. I used to have a lot of travelling movies and videos up, but I've taken those all down. But anyway, that's the Koala Farmer. Funny or not, that's the fucking truth of it. Alright, let me cash in some of these fucking quests. Another reason I told that today, I can't believe is Queensland lost the state of origin, and massacre missions were meant to be knee deep in massacre missions, killing stuff. So if you're not in, hopefully you are entertained. And that is the origins of being of the Koala Farmer. And also these planetary scan missions for Elite Dangerous. A lot of players come here. They buy a little in the Quint system, QUINCE. It's a great way to increase your Imperial rep, make a lot of money, and they usually buy a little Sidewinder with a planetary SRV. And they fly down the planet and do the missions repeatedly over. They blow themselves on the planet so they come back to the space station quicker. I don't want to cheat. I want to do it properly. I'm stupid like that. But, yeah. And somehow I picked up a man flu. And also these missions also increase your Imperial rank and also give you materials for your engineers. Pardon me. And cargo as well. So the only thing I will say to anyone that's still listening or passing through or hears this, I'll probably split this live stream up so that and rename it and all the rest of it later on. But if you ever get the opportunity to travel